Sometimes we remain dormant and we don't do things that we know that we need to do. The longer we wait to do the things we want to do, the more powerful, the more pressure, the more energy builds up. And over time, this energy gets stored. It can only come out the top, really. The pressure can hold from within. But let's say there was space underneath, then the pressure over time would be alleviated and it wouldn't build up to a point where it erupts. And what happens here is, if we analogize this to self-development and we analogize it and try and understand what this idea means for us and our goals and achieving things that we want to achieve, like a volcano, when we don't release the pressure from a certain point where we know that once that pressure has been released, we get to choose all the time, no matter where it is, exactly where it is that we want the pressure to go. And the problem is sometimes when we leave life to do its thing, the pressure ends up dissipating from a place we don't want it to. And the energy goes, the energy fades, and we no longer have the energy or the pressure and the momentum behind us to carry on doing the things that we want to do in our lives. The idea is, once we have momentum, once we have pressure, and pressure comes from thoughts, continuous thoughts over time that build up. Once we have this, we must choose where we direct that energy to go to. If there's anything we can see from nature and try to implement and analogize, contextualize what nature is telling us, if we try to understand it, we must have pressure, we must have momentum, but we must also have patience and know at all times where it is that we want that energy to go to. Most likely been dormant for some time, yet the position of where the energy direction is going to has never changed. It's always been right at the top. So I think this is quite something unique that we can take away from nature, where no matter what happens around it, surrounding it, it remains knowing exactly where the energy needs to be directed to. I would ask you to ask yourself, you should be asking yourself this. If I know over time in my life that I am going to accumulate energy to go to achieving a certain goal, what exactly is that goal? And is it as immovable as it should be? Am I allowing any factors outside of that goal, outside of myself, to vacate and move the goal around? When we allow outside influences to change the very things that we want to see in our life, we then change the things we do towards achieving that goal. And no longer then do we have consistency to achieving our goals. And this becomes a problem over time. Because without consistency, without taking the next step, without using our energy in one direction, we end up dissipating the energy towards many things that we may not actually need to be doing and may not be necessary to completing and achieving our goal. It will always remain as is, as long as it remains untouched. A couple of things for you to think about. Let's use and contextualize these things to understand how we can improve ourselves and how we can change our lives. Stay focused on directing the energy that you have towards the goal you want to achieve.